Welcome to your Sleepy Psych Sanctuary, a place where overthinkers can finally relax. This is your time to give your mind a rest. Before we begin, let's just arrive here together, wherever here is for you. Feel where your body is right now, the surface beneath you, whether that is a mattress, a pillow, a cushion, or a soft couch. Feel the temperature of the air on your face. Notice if it is warm or cool. Just notice, you don't have to change it. Take a slow breath in through your nose and let it out gently through your mouth. One more, in and out. Good. You are already here. There is nothing you need to do. You get to simply be. Kolanunster. Not little baller group of Kolanster. Tonight, we're going to quietly peek in on someone named they are lying in their bed. A small, beautiful bed tucked inside a narrow boat cabin floating on a still canal. And like so many of us, their mind simply will not stop. Maybe you know this feeling, that particular kind of tired, where the body wants to rest, but the mind has other ideas. The mind keeps moving, keeps returning to things that have already happened, conversations that are already over, moments that cannot be changed. The mind keeps turning them over, examining them, wondering what would have happened if something had been said differently, or not said at all. Maybe it is the memory of a decision they made a while ago that hasn't quite settled yet. Maybe it is a sentence they spoke to someone, or didn't speak, or almost spoke. Maybe it is something they did or didn't do, and the mind keeps bringing them back to that doorway, that moment, as if returning to it again and again will somehow change what happened. Maybe you have been there too. That soft, relentless pull of the past in the dark. Tonight, and we are going to sit quietly beside them and watch as the water and the evening and the small, ordinary miracle of a calm breath begin to do their gentle work. The canal is still tonight. Outside the small round portholes of the boat cabin, the water is dark and glassy, reflecting the very last traces of light from the sky. A faint, faded amber that has nearly given itself over to deep blue, nearly, but not quite yet. Inside the cabin, a single lamp glows beside the bed. It is a warm lamp, the kind that gives off a golden circle of light without really reaching into the corners. The corners of the cabin stay soft and dim, and that is fine. That is actually perfect. The cabin smells of wood. Old, warm, slightly sweet wood. The kind that has absorbed years of river air and tea and candlelight and quiet evenings. There is something else too. Just underneath, something faintly mossy and cool that drifts in from the water. The particular smell of a canal at night. Green and still and very old. Aspen is the bed is narrow. Canal boat beds always are. But the mattress is deep and soft, and there is a blanket pulled up to their shoulders. A thick woven thing in shades of gray and cream that has been on this boat longer than Aspen has. It is a familiar weight, a known weight. Their head rests on a pillow that still holds a little warmth from earlier in the evening. They are comfortable. Their body is comfortable. Their mind, however, is elsewhere. Or score. Aspen stares at the low ceiling of the cabin. It is close. Cabin ceilings always are. But it does not feel oppressive. It feels contained in a way that Aspen usually finds comforting. Usually. Tonight there is something running just beneath the surface of things. It isn't loud. It isn't a shout. It is more like a current. The kind that moves beneath still water, invisible from above but steady. Persistent, the kind that, if you were floating above it, will slowly move you somewhere you didn't intend to go. Aspen's mind has been doing this for a while now. Moving, picking something up, setting it down, picking it up again, there is a conversation from some weeks ago that keeps surfacing, something they said, or the way they said it, and the way the other person's expression changed, just slightly, just enough. Aspen has returned to that expression many times since then, turning it over like a stone, looking at what's underneath, finding more questions underneath, finding more stones. And then there are other things layered beneath that. Older things, a choice made months ago that still has loose ends. A task left unfinished that lives at the edge of their awareness during daylight hours and moves to the center of it when the lights go down. A version of themselves from 6 months ago that they are still somehow in conversation with. Still trying to explain, still trying to justify, still waiting for some kind of answer that version of themselves isn't going to give. The mind is so good at this, in the dark, at returning, at re-examining. Aspen knows this about their mind. They have known it. It is not a flaw, exactly, door during the day. That same quality of attention, that thoroughness, that return and re-examine. Now it serves them. It helps them notice things others miss. It helps them care carefully. But at night, in the cabin, with the lamp making its small gold circle on the ceiling, and the canal barely moving outside, at night, it is just a lot. The thoughts don't arrive in any particular order. That is the strange thing about it. They don't follow a line. They arrive in clusters or in loops. One thought reaching the end of its track and looping back to the beginning. And somewhere in the middle of that loop, a new thought attaches itself. And then that one loops too. And now there are 2 loops running at the same time. And then 3, and the mind is somehow managing all of them simultaneously, which is deeply impressive and completely exhausting. Aspen closes their eyes, opens them again. The ceiling is still there. Outside, something on the canal moves. A gentle sound, a ripple against the hull, the softest knock of water against wood. The boat shifts, just barely. Just a breath of movement. Then it is still again. Aspen exhales. They are aware that they have been breathing shallowly. They hadn't noticed until just now the way the breath had gotten quiet and high in the chest. Not quite reaching down. Like something inside was bracing, like the body had been preparing, just in case. The loops are still running. Aspen notices this. They observe it from a small, tired distance. The way you might watch traffic from a window above a street, not in it, but aware of it, all of that movement, going somewhere, or perhaps going nowhere in particular, just moving because that is what traffic does. And then something shifts, just slightly. Aspen remembers something. They remember being told once that the mind loops. Because it is looking for resolution. That the thinking brain, when it latches on to something unresolved, a mistake, a worry, a past moment, a future what if, it returns to that thing the way a tongue returns to a sore tooth automatically. Without permission, because the brain, in its earnest and tireless way, believes that if it just examines the thing one more time, from one more angle, it might finally find the resolution it is looking for. But here's the thing about the dark. The dark is not a good place to resolve things. The dark is a place for rest. And the brain, bless it, does not always know the difference. What the brain needs right now is something else to do. Something small, something that requires just enough attention to pull the loops offline. Not a big dramatic task, not something emotionally charged, not something connected to any of the things that are spinning. Just something quiet and slightly random and completely beautifully unimportant. Aspen knows this technique. They have used it before. Cognitive shuffling, it's called. A way of deliberately giving the thinking brain a set of small, low-stakes images to move through. Not a story, not a plan, just a gentle, wandering sequence of unrelated things. The brain follows along because it can't quite help itself. It wants to engage. But there is nothing to analyze, nothing to worry about, nothing that loops back to the past or forward into the future. Just a procession of ordinary, quietly absurd, completely neutral things. An apple. Aspen thinks an apple. A red one. Round and slightly waxy. Just sitting there on a counter somewhere. No significance. No backstory. A mailbox. One of those old ones, slightly dented, with a flag that sticks a little when you try to raise it. Blue carpet, older carpet, the kind with a low pile, in a room they have probably never been in. A ladder. Wooden. Leaning against something. Doesn't matter what. The loops are still there, faintly, but they are further away now. Like traffic heard from a higher floor, or from a room with the windows closed. A tugboat. Aspen almost smiles. A small, sturdy tugboat. Somewhere on a river. Just doing its work. A ceramic bowl. Blue and white. Sitting on a shelf. A fern, large, slightly droopy, in a corner. The loops are. There is something in Aspen's chest that is slightly looser than it was 10 minutes ago. Not resolved. Nothing is resolved. The things are still there. They will still be there tomorrow. And tomorrow in the daylight, they can be looked at properly, with a rested mind, with the patience that things like that deserve. But quieter. For now, just quieter. A key, an old key, the kind that would open something wooden. A glass of water. Just water. Still, clear. The canal makes a sound. A low, slow movement of water along the side of the hull. Near, not a wave, exactly. Just a settling. The boat leans, almost imperceptibly, and then rights itself. Outside, very faintly, there's the call of something. A bird, perhaps, somewhere along the towpath. A single note. And then quiet again. Aspen lies still. They are aware of the cabin in a different way now. Not looking at it, not inventorying it, but simply inside it. The way you become aware of a room you've been in long enough to stop seeing the warm wood above them, The narrow bed, the blanket, the lamp, the air coming through the small ventilation gap near the porthole is cool on their cheek. Just the very edge of their face, cool and slightly damp with canal air. That green, quiet smell again. That smell that means evening and water and nothing urgent. They breathe it in. And as they breathe, they notice something. Their chest. There is something in their chest that is working harder than it needs to. Not pain. Nothing like that. Just a kind of tension. A held quality, like a fist that has been clenched for a long time and has forgotten how to fully open. Aspen's heart is moving a little faster than it should be. For someone lying still in a warm bed on a quiet night, they can feel it if they pay attention, which they hadn't been before, but now they are. That slight quickening, that slight readiness. The body, it seems, has been listening to the mind. Aspen knows this too. Unquite. The way the body and the mind borrow from each other. The mind starts to run, and then the body is running, and the mind takes that as confirmation that there must be something to run from, and so both of them are running in a dark cabin, on a still canal, on a quiet night. From something that is not here and never was here and will not be solved by running. The body does not know it is safe tonight. Nobody told it. It is doing exactly what bodies are designed to do. Responding to the signals from the mind. Staying alert. Staying ready. Keeping the heart moving and the breath high in the chest in case something requires a response. What Aspen can do, what Aspen knows they can do, is speak to the body in a language the body understands. Not words. Breath. The breathing is simple. It doesn't require anything. It just requires a willingness to breathe differently for a few minutes and to let the body, which is wise and which is listening, begin to understand that nothing is coming, that the night is still, that the water is calm, that the only thing required right now is rest. 4 counts in. Slowly, Aspen breathes in through their nose. 1, 2, 3. The breath fills the chest, and then, if they let it, it reaches down a little further, or room, into the belly, into the space beneath the ribs. A deeper breath than they have taken in a while, and then nail, and this is the important part. The breath out is longer. 6 counts. Slow. Patient. The exhale longer than the inhale, because the body reads a long exhale as safety. That long, slow breath out says, we are not running, we are resting. You are allowed to set this down. Aspen breathes out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The canal is very quiet. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the body begins to listen. This is not magic. It is simply biology. The long exhale activates what the nervous system calls its rest and digest state. A deep and ancient part of the body's wiring that says, slow down, settle. The heart doesn't need to rush. The breath doesn't need to stay high and shallow and ready. The muscles don't need to hold. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Aspen's heart is still moving. But it is moving differently now. Slower. More even. Like the canal. 1, 2. The blanket rests on their chest, and they can feel it rise very slightly with each inhale, and lower with each exhale. Rise and fall. Rise and fall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Something in their shoulders lets go. They hadn't known it was held there. They hadn't felt it tighten earlier when the mind began its loops. But they feel it releasing now. A slow downward movement, like something finally finding its right place. 1, 2, 3, 4. The lamp gives its small gold light. Out. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. The canal breathes too in its own, just the faintest rocking, the gentlest rhythm, as if the water itself is breathing beneath the boat. In and out, ancient and unhurried. Aspen breathes with it. In and out, in and out, slower, slower. There is a particular kind of awareness that comes when the body begins to calm down. It is not quite sleep, not yet, but it is the country adjacent to sleep. The border region, the place where things begin to soften at their edges, and the mind, if you let it, begins to lose interest in its own arguments. Aspen is in that place now. Or close to it, close enough to feel the possibility of it, the nearness of it, like warmth from a room you haven't quite entered yet. And then, very quietly and very unhelpfully, a thought arrives. You should be asleep by now. Aspen knows this. It is one of the more tiresome thoughts because it carries with it a kind of self-defeating arithmetic. The later it gets, and the more they are aware of the lateness, the harder sleep becomes, and the harder sleep becomes, the later it gets, and the later it gets. The thought tightens. A small clench somewhere behind the breastbone. How many hours until morning? The mind, helpfully, begins to calculate. If they fall asleep right now, they could still get several hours. If they fall asleep in the next 20 minutes, but if it takes longer than that, and tomorrow, and the day after, Aspen feels the familiar frustration beginning to arise, like water in a slow flood, not panic, nothing dramatic, just a pressure. The pressure of wanting sleep badly enough that the wanting itself becomes an obstacle. The pressure of knowing that the more you reach for it, the further it goes. Sleep, that strange and necessary thing, does not come when you chase it. It comes when you stop. Aspen has learned, Nayad is still learning, something important about this. The pressure to sleep is not actually about sleep. It is about control. It is the mind's attempt to manage something that cannot be managed. something that only arrives on its own terms, in its own time, and only when you have stopped demanding it. Sleep is not something you do. Sleep is something that happens to you when you have gotten sufficiently out of your own way. And the frustration, the tight, clicking frustration of being awake when you want to be asleep, is just another thought. Just another thing the mind has produced. It feels urgent. It feels true. It feels like a real problem requiring an immediate solution. But it is just a thought. Just a thought. Aspen holds this gently. There is a way of being with thoughts that is different from being inside them. A way of noticing a thought as a thought rather than as a fact about the world. A little distance, not suppression, not pushing anything away, but observation. Looking at the thought from slightly outside it, the way you'd look at a balloon someone has handed you. You can hold the string, you can look at it, you can notice its color and shape. And then, when you are ready, you can simply let the string go. It doesn't disappear. Balloons don't just cease to exist when you release them. Nound. But it drifts upward, slowly, and takes its place somewhere above and away, where you can see it, but it no longer fills your whole view. Aspen tries this now. The thought, you should be asleep by now. They hold it for a moment. They look at it. It is real. They can see it. They can acknowledge it. They don't need to pretend it isn't there. And then they let the string go. The thought floats upward, up through the cabin ceiling, through the dark night air, over the canal. Another thought arrives, something about tomorrow, something beginning to build into a structure of worry. And Aspen holds it, looks at it. It is just a thought, a balloon. It floats. The old conversation surfaces, the one they have returned to many times now. The expression that changed, that half second of something in someone's eyes. Aspen holds it. It is real. They are not dismissing it. They are not pretending it doesn't matter. It matters. It is okay that it matters, but right now, at this hour, in this cabin, with the canal resting beneath them, and the lamp making its quiet gold circle, and the night settled around everything like a held breath. Court, right now, this thought gets to float. They let the string go. The thought drifts upward. And beneath it, in the space it leaves behind, there's just a little more room. More thoughts arrive. They always do. For a while, and Aspen holds each one and lets each one go. Not fighting, not chasing, just noticing and releasing. Noticing and releasing. The way the water beneath the boat releases each small ripple without holding on to any of them. The thoughts float up through the ceiling and into the dark sky above the canal, where they join a kind of slow drifting procession. All the worries, all the replays, all the calculations and what-ifs, rising and drifting and moving further away, not gone but distant, not gone but quiet. Aspen breathes in and out. The cabin is warm. The canal is still. The procession drifts. There is something that happens when the body is warm and the breathing is slow and the thoughts have been given permission to drift. Rather than being fought or followed, the edges of things begin to soften. It is not a dramatic shift. It is not a revelation. It is more like the way a fire dies down at the end of an evening. Not suddenly, not all at once, but ember by ember, each small point of light cooling gradually until what remains is just warmth and the memory of warmth, and then eventually rest. Aspen's mind is still moving, a little, gently, the way the canal moves, not going anywhere in particular, not driven by any urgency, just the natural motion of something alive and fluid, following its own quiet physics. The replaying has slowed. The old conversations are further away now. And they're still there, still theirs. Still something they can return to when the time is right and the light is better and the mind is rested enough to hold them with the care they deserve. But for now, they are at a distance. For now, they belong to tomorrow. Aspen is learning, slowly, on quiet nights like this one, that the mind that replays mistakes is not an unkind mind. It is a caring mind. A mind that wanted to do things well. And when it didn't, or when it isn't sure whether it did, it returns to those moments not to punish, but because it cares, because it is trying to learn, because it is hoping that somewhere in the re-examination it will find the thing it can do differently. That is a good impulse. It is just a poorly timed one. There will be time and daylight, an arrested mind, there will be all of that, and it will be more useful than anything the dark and the late hour and the tired brain can offer tonight. For now, Aspen gets to rest. For now, Aspen gets to just be. The lamp gives its quiet light. Outside, something on the canal moves. Another small ripple. Another gentle knock against the hull, as if the water is simply reminding them it is there. Still there. Holding the boat. Holding Aspen the way water holds things, with no effort, without thinking about it, without even trying. Aspen breathes in, slowly, deeply, down into the belly, and breathes out, long, easy, all the way out. The canal breathes too. The night breathes. The cabin, with its warm wood and its old blanket and its single lamp making gold in the corner. Now the cabin breathes. And Aspen lets go. Not of everything. Not all at once. Just of the tension of holding. Just of the effort of trying. Just a little. Just enough to feel the mattress beneath them as something solid and real and completely undemanding. Just enough to feel the weight of the blanket as something kind, just enough to feel the pillow as a place to land. The procession of balloons drifts far above the canal now. Still there. Still visible if Aspen were to look. But they are not looking. There is nothing to look at but the ceiling, soft in the lamplight. And even that is becoming less distinct. If you have followed Aspen here, into the cabin, onto the canal, into the slow and gentle dark of this evening. Then perhaps you have already been doing what they have been doing. Perhaps your breathing has slowed just a little. Perhaps the thoughts that were running when you first lay down have gotten slightly further away. If so, that is enough. That is more than enough. Let's rest here together for just a few more minutes. Number room to wonder for. All room to wonder for. Aspen found 3 things tonight. 3. The first was a way through the loops. That gentle, wandering practice of moving through ordinary images, one by one, without asking anything of them. A key. A fern, a tugboat going about its business on a river somewhere. The mind, given something small and neutral to follow, began to loosen its grip on the things that had been turning over. Nothing was resolved. Nothing needed to be, or not tonight. Tonight, the mind just needed something simple to follow. And simple was enough. The second was the breath. 4 counts in, 6 counts out. A quiet conversation with the nervous system. A way of saying, in the language the body understands, that the night is safe, the cabin is warm, the water is calm, and everything that the body has been braced for can be gently, gradually set down. The body listened. Bodies always listen. Eventually, when the breath speaks slowly enough. The third was the balloons, the thoughts that arrived, one by one, in the dark. The worries, the replays, the small, tight calculations about sleep, held for a moment, seen for what they were, and then released. Not solved, not suppressed, just released. Let go of the string and let drift upward into a sky that is wide enough to hold them and high enough that they no longer fill the whole view. Forcer, forcer, forcercer, forcercer. And now for you. Let's do this one more time together, slowly. Wherever you are right now, feel the weight of yourself, the full, real, physical weight, resting against whatever is beneath you. You don't have to hold yourself up. You get to be held. Notice the temperature of the air on your face. Just notice. Don't change it. Just feel it. Notice a sound. Something quiet. Something ordinary. The hum of something nearby, the settling of a building, the faint sound of your own breath, whatever is there, and breathe in through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, and out slowly, longer than the in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again. In. 1, 3, 4. Out. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Good. If thoughts come, poor or no, and they will, because that is what minds do. Just hold them for a moment. See them. Don't fight them. Just notice with a kind of patient curiosity there's a thought. And then let the string go. Let it drift. Watch it rise. You can think about it all tomorrow. It will still be there. The things that matter, that need to be tended to, they will wait. They are patient. They know you are better at tending to them when you are rested, when the light is good, when your mind has had a chance to be still. Tonight, those things float. Tonight, you breathe, and each time you breathe out, let something go. Let the shoulders go. Let the jaw go. Let the hands, if they have been holding anything, open. Let the legs, if they have been bracing against anything, soften into the mattress. There is nothing to brace against. The night is quiet, and you are here, warm, safe, and breathing. All the thoughts that needed to be thought have had their turn. All the replaying that needed to happen has been allowed. And now, gently, without fanfare, without drama, without any force at all, Lightnix, now is the time for the mind to rest. The lamp makes its gold circle, and the canal makes no sound, and the cabin is warm, and Aspen is still. And you are still. You get to be still. Now it is time for you to give your mind a rest.